What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And this one I wanted to break down what's going on with NIO, Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's happening with the market this far, what you should be watching for as time progresses, what's going on with some big earnings that just came out, and also how things are looking moving forward as NIO and many tickers out there are looking kind of bullish. But before I break into all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed up to 15 free stocks, and the offer ends very soon. The offer ends tomorrow, by the way, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's talk about NIO. NIO has this nice accumulation structure developed yesterday, and as we predicted, I told you NIO might see a little bounce, and that's what ended up panning out as the whole market came back up. Now, NIO has these imbalances to fill, which suggests that there's more upside coming, and we're going to be watching these resistance levels. But I want to note that NIO, in my opinion, can pump more. We're going to be approaching some tight resistance if we pump a little bit more from here, so watch that carefully, but I still think that there is potential for it to get a little higher. On top of that, I just want to mention that SPY looks bullish, Tesla looks very bullish, so does the QQQ. I'm going to break down more details about them a little bit later, but let's first talk about the markets and some news affecting us. So tomorrow, it's going to be Thursday, February 15th. Before the market opens, an hour before open, we have initial jobless claims coming out. That's going to be very important. And then later on during the day, we have, well, not during the day, but very close to open, we have industrial production numbers, industrial production year over year as well. Then manufacturing numbers later on, and then some housing data coming out at 10 a.m. And then besides that, all the other pieces of data are kind of minor. We do have Waller from the Fed giving a speech, but that's pretty much it. Everything else is going to be kind of minor. So watch for some volatility when the manufacturing numbers come out, and also before the market opens with the initial jobless claims. As of right now, the market thinks that there's a 90% chance the Fed is going to keep rates the same and a 10% chance we're going to get a cut. So a little adjustment from yesterday is almost exactly the same though, and then we'll see what happens after that. For earnings, we just had a couple of others coming out for today, such as like Cisco Systems, and then we have just a few others, very, very minor earnings, if anything. Tomorrow is going to be, tomorrow is going to be more serious because we have John Deere announcing earnings, not to mention DraftKings, Coinbase, and Roku all announcing earnings. Coinbase is going to be a big one. I can't wait for that. But right now, let's look at Twilio's earnings that came out. Basically, it beat on EPS and revenue. We actually had some decent looking numbers. You can see right here, they actually beat on their EPS. Revenue is also a beat at 56 cents, which is better than what the adjusted EPS was. But unfortunately, the forecast has come in light for their revenue, and that's what's causing the share price to drop. Not the best of news for them. For Cisco Systems, we had decent earnings as well, but their guidance is not the best, and they also announced for 5% cuts to jobs. So that's going to be about 4,000 jobs that they're going to be letting go, which is very, very bad news, at least for them. If anything, the company has to do this to help maintain its earnings, help maintain its profitability and such. And sometimes companies are put in tough positions in high interest rate environments. What this means is that Cisco ended up dropping as a result of this. Guidance was not the strongest, so it is what it is. We just have to move on. For NIO, we're still making a lot of headlines. There's an article talking about how NIO stock is in a reality check, the case for caution in a volatile EV market. And basically, right here, they're saying that the company's outlook is weaker than expected. There's lots of competition in the space. They're saying that their global growth ambitions are just not really going to help them. Geopolitical risks are going to get in the way. And I think there is truth behind all those claims, but I don't think it's enough to convince me that NIO is going to fail. And that's what the big difference is. So why do I think NIO is going to do well long term? The reason for that is because of their growth. Sure, their numbers are not the strongest, but I do believe that as time goes on, they're going to see consistent growth, and they're making a lot of plans to test new EV models, which is something they've been talking about. Another factor is their products. Their products are very unique with the battery swapping systems. There's almost no company that does that, and I think that that's going to be a big winning factor for them. And then they're also headquartered in China. Of course, you can't forget about that. Being in China gives them a big advantage to learn about the systems and such, and they're getting more exposure in Norway and other places. But China is the biggest EV market, and it's going to continue to grow as time goes on. So I think that NIO is going to, it's in a very, very good place, and we're just getting started. So with that being said, I think that NIO is not in the best of places when looking at their margins and everything altogether right now because of the current macroeconomic environment. I think Tesla's in the same place, if anything. But what makes me confident is the fact that their sales will remain high, and they're going to continue to cut costs and find more efficient ways to improve their production capabilities. And for the long term, I'm still very confident they're going to bring expenditures down, get closer to profitability. I really believe that they're going to be fine long term. I don't really let this news get in my way. So that being said, the volume was about 41 million. It's still pumping on low volume, even though it's up quite nicely for today. On top of this, you guys can see that NIO also saw short volume going up just slightly to about 58%, so a little bit more shorting than usual. But besides that, the price price ratio is bouncing a bit. It's gaining a little bit of strength. It tends to be green about 50.49% of the time on Thursdays. And look for hourly seasonality around 2 p.m. then the final hour of the day. Besides that, everything else is the same. During seasonality price action movements, we do tend to see some downside in February historically. NIO already started off very weak for the year, just like Tesla. So we're going to be watching to see if we could try to rebound. What do I think is going to happen for tomorrow? Here's my prediction. I think that NIO might retest the 20 EMA close to 5.96. As long as we hold above it, I think it should bounce and start pushing for at least a 6.15. We have this imbalance at 6.1, but I think it's going to get to 6.15. If that breaks, 6.25 plus is coming. I think that NIO is going to try to make a full recovery. I think it's going to get pushed up thanks to SPY and other tickers. So I'm anticipating it's going to push a little bit more, get to the 6.2s. I see a little bit more upside as the trend is looking quite decent. And we got a very, very nice cup and handle like structure as we're trying to break out. For SPY, to me, this looks bullish. I think that SPY has potential to come all the way up to at least 501. Overall, we made a very, very nice inverse head and shoulders as well. Nice accumulation once it came down, giving lots of investors a scare. But I do see 501 being tested. Now, do I know if it's going to break past that or reject? We'll just have to wait and see. But I think SPY has the potential to push all the way up to at least 501. I still have that in the back of my mind. What about for Tesla? Tesla looks kind of bullish as well, getting a nice breakout as we closed. There could be some news coming, so we're going to be watching to see how well it could hold above 188. I think that it might retrace to 187.72 and then make its way back up to at least 190. And I think it's going to be toying with the 190 to 191 area and eventually even higher levels than that. But if we look at the 4-hour time frame, we just got a bullish cross on the PPO. When we get that, typically Tesla does tend to run or at least push a little bit. We're not in a sideways choppy zone. We're actually making like a recovery phase, which tends to suggest that there's more upside coming. This suggests that because Tesla's above the 50 EMA, as long as we try to get back above and then hold above 188.9. We're currently above that, but if we try to hold above that area, we're going to be fine. I think if it maintains above 188, we're going to be pushing into the 190 zone. 191 is a good target, followed by 192.5. And then if we break that, we could test 195. So I think there's upside coming. Aapl has been dropping after some news about Warren Buffett selling some shares. If we fail to hold 182.5, I could see it retracing to 180, then attempting to bounce there. Still looks kind of bearish on the 4-hour. It still has a lot of bearish momentum. So look for a little bit more potential downside. The triple Q, however, is looking pretty good. Going to be looking for a bullish cross on the 4-hour. If we get that cross, I think it could return to fill this gap at 435. And I think it's going to try to push back up. For Nvda, this thing formed a very, very nice looking cup and handle like structure. You can see it right about here. Let me just zoom out for a second. So it looks like this. Hold on. It looks just like this actually. So this is the giant cup and handle that's been forming on it. And you guys can see that if this ends up panning out, it would be very, very nice, at least for Nvda and the other investors out there. But right here, this looks like a cup. This looks like a handle. We might see a breakout. If we could break 740, look for a push towards 750, and even higher than that. This also looks like a nice accumulation structure. And we have this nice like inverse head and shoulders, which suggests that it might push up for at least 746 again. And if it breaks that, 750 is coming. So Nvda looks bullish. It could push a little higher again. And if we get that push, this could help the QQQ. So what's my verdict for tomorrow? The answer is I think there's more upside coming. And we might see NIO attempt to get back up towards this imbalance up here and also these higher levels. So look for a retest of 5.96, then a bounce, and then 6.1 and 6.25. If we break that, 6.5 is coming. There's definitely potential for NIO. With that being said, thank you for listening. Have a great day. Remain calm, cool, and collected. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you and peace out.